Hi, this is Christine, your relationship and mindset master doctor, and your leverage for change. And today I want to come by to just speak to you about the fearful avoidant and how they interact in relationship with an anxious preoccupied individual and a dismissive avoidant individual. Uh, if you haven't watched any of the videos or about the fearful avoidant, just a background for them. The fearful avoidant. Well, let me first start with the anxious preoccupied because then that will make sense. You'll understand it more after I describe what the anxious preoccupied is and the dismissive avoidant is. Because the fact is that the fearful avoidant individual with this attachment style, they have both attachment styles. And so you can see how that can be a little difficult for them and for anyone who is in relationship with them, right? So the anxious preoccupied person is usually very anxious, right? And they are usually preoccupied with the relationship. Any relationship that they're in, they pretty much, that relationship pretty much takes them over. They are fully into this relationship to the detriment of any other relationship that they may already have. So these are the people that you will find that will be, they will stop going out with their friends. They will stop maybe interacting so much with their family because they're always so preoccupied with this person that they're with, right? So that is what happens with the anxious preoccupied. Now, the thing about the anxious preoccupied is that they also they fear the biggest fear for the anxious preoccupied is that they fear abandonment, right? So in every relationship from they were children growing up, they now bring that same. They were children probably. What happened was that the parent was not there for them when they needed them. They needed to change. They couldn't, they cried, but nobody came. But when they came, these children would just basically latch on to them because they feared that the next time they left, they wouldn't see them again, that kind of thing. So this child grew up with this kind of attachment style and always has a fear of being abandoned by their parents. Now, the thing that happens though is that as they grow older and they now start having intimate relationships, they now bring the same kind of attachment style and that same fear of abandonment into their intimate or romantic relationships. And what happens is that they this is the reason why they really focus, they're so preoccupied with their relationships, the intimate relationships, because they fear that that person, if they might do something wrong or they might do whatever it is. So they're there just kind of like all the time trying to please that partner so that they don't leave them because of this terrible fear of abandonment. And the the fearful avoidant that I was that I spoke about earlier has this aspect of attachment as well, right? And the other part of the attachment that they have is the dismissive avoidant. Now, the dismissive avoidant is like totally opposite from the anxious preoccupied because now whereas the anxious preoccupied is very warm and loving and wants to be close and close and cuddly and want to love you and be there for you and all kind of stuff. The dismissive avoidant is like very cold and distant, and they like to be by themselves. They cannot easily share emotional anything emotion. They can't take too much emotion, right? So if a relationship becomes too close and there's a huge emotional connection going on there, they will actually disappear or find some way of disappearing. A lot of times they may pick a quarrel so that way when they leave, they can just leave because then this person might not is not going to be bothering them, right? So they leave because they have to be alone to recoup. It's like they have to re-energize themselves away from any emotional intensity. And so they'll go home or they'll go somewhere else or they'll go and have an affair with somebody else, right? Because the thing about someone with a dismissive avoidant personality is that anybody who they get close to, they don't trust a lot of people because in their childhood what happened was that It was similar to the anxious preoccupied, but it was over more of an extended period. The people who just would not be there, and no matter how much they reached out to someone for help, uh, nobody was. They're just basically just there raising themselves, and they get fed or something occasionally, or that kind of thing. So what they learn to do, and they're for the deepest part of this is that they had no emotional connection from their caregivers, and so they grew up distrusting people. They didn't trust love. They didn't trust close proximity, and love, that kind of a love. They didn't trust it because every time they did that, all they had was pain. So they equated relationships to pain. So you can imagine that is going to be not so good for whoever they're in relationship with, because yes, they want that connection, but the thing about it is that they're not able to tolerate any kind of emotional intensity, and so they leave, right? They leave and they go away and they distance themselves. They may be someone who may have a dog. They could have a dog. And the reason they could have a dog is that the dog does not have any kind of emotional, they don't need anything emotional. They just need for them to be fed and played with and that kind of thing. They also can have lots of different women because they don't have to connect emotionally with them. um, but the minute they get into a relationship where they feel that they're going to get emotionally connected to that person, they will leave, or they will run away, or they'll distance themselves, and so there is always a kind of a struggle in that kind of a relationship. And the sad part about that, guys, is that someone who's a you know dismissive avoidant individual, that attachment style, they are usually attracted to someone who has the anxious preoccupied, right? uh, so that you can imagine the problem that is. But in the case of the fearful avoidant, which is what we came here to speak about, is that the fearful avoidant has both of those attachment styles. So with in a relationship, the fearful avoidant in a relationship with an anxious preoccupied individual will be more dismissive, right? So it's like they morph, right? And so, because the anxious, preoccupied person needs a lot of emotional intensity, they need all that closeness and all that stuff. They don't have to get that, they don't have to really do anything to get that. So, because it's just there and it's like a lot for them, it's just too much for them. And so now they will just kind of cut themselves off and go and leave, right? And be very cold and distant. This is a fearful avoidant now, but this is in relationship with a anxious preoccupied person. Now, in a relationship with a dismissive avoidant person, the fearful avoidant now morphs into the anxious preoccupied person. And now they're very needy and they want emotional connection, because this person does not give, the dismissive avoidant does not give emotional connection, or they don't need that closeness, they don't need that emotional connection. And so the fearful avoidant becomes needy and now reaches out for this affection and this love and this closeness when the dismissive avoidant cannot give it. All right, so I hope that kind of clarifies and give you a kind of some kind of perspective on how a fearful avoidant, because they have both sides of the attachment styles, the anxious preoccupied and the dismissive avoidant, the way they behave in a relationship with either party is going to be different. Same person, but different response to to how dismissive avoidant and an anxious preoccupied would operate in a relationship. All right, guys, if you've learned something from this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and please hit the notification bell so that as soon as I upload something new, that you'll get notification from it, and you'll see it. It really also helps my channel to build my channel, and also to kind of just allow me to make more videos like this for you. This is Christine, your relationship and mindset mastery doctor, and your leverage for change. Guys, please take care of yourself out there, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.